Good morning, beloveds. I'm running a little late because I had physical therapy today. And I will tell you, one, it's working. It is working so much. I'm grateful that I finally called somebody and went, I can't do this. Help me. Very definition of science of mind. When you don't feel like you can do it yourself, call somebody who can hold the space for you. And so that's what my physical therapist is doing for me. I also, because it's going to be a little bit of she does a really hard massage to kind of move things around. I wore shorts because she's working on my knee. And I walked out of the house and my husband's like, really? You're wearing shorts? It's 44 degrees out there. You're wearing shorts? Yes. Because it's just from here to the car. And when I walked into the office, the doctor went, it's cold out there. You're wearing shorts? Yes, I'm wearing shorts. But I'm a runner and most of my legs are all muscle, and muscles, they burn energy. And so they run a little warm. So I'm good. Now, if I'm going to be standing out in 44-degree weather, I'm going to wear pants. Just so you know. But, all right. It is October 29th. We have 3 days left in the month of fulfillment. And today, our title is, I Glorify the Power of the Word. I have faith in the invisible because everything that is visible proclaims the invisible source of its being. I feel as though all things, even though they are temporary, are rooted in a changeless reality. Today, I enter into this divine play of life upon itself. Today, I enter and witness the eternal birth of divine ideas. I recognize these ideas as supporting me with everything I need. Today, I have implicit faith that substance is taking form in my affairs. This substance takes the form of joy, friendship, and love. It takes the form of abundance and of perfect physical condition. Everything is increased and multiplied, and the good that goes from me also is increased and multiplied. I believe in the power of my own word because I understand that it is not I, but the Father that dwelleth within me that does the work. I know that I individualize the power of God. Through my spoken word, I exercise dominion over everything that comes into my experience. I do this without any sense of strain or compulsion, but rather with a joyous sense, a sense of the one who beholds the works of God must be altogether good and perfect. I use my word and glorify in its power. Interestingly enough, that last sentence, I use my word and glorify in its power, he used the little w, whereas in the title, I glorify in the power of the word, uses the big W. Something to think about. Okay. So, I glorify in the power of the word. If you go back, I'm not a Bible scholar. I've read a whole lot of the Bible. Well, at this point, I think I can say I've read the Bible cover to cover, just not all in one go. The various Bible classes that I had in ministerial school, we read a lot of it. So I'm pretty sure at this point that I've read every book in the Bible. And some that I have a HarperCollins student Bible. And one of the things that I love about that is in the front of the HarperCollins student Bible, they have lists that show you which books are included. So it shows you which books are in the Jewish Testament, and then it shows which books are included in the Protestant, the Catholic, and the Eastern Orthodox, because they don't all have the same books in them. And then I also have other things, like I have the Gnostic Bible, and I have the Nag Hammadi, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I think I have one more. So I've read even books that could have been in the Bible but aren't. And because somebody made a decision. You don't want to think about the Bible as a book. You want to think about the Bible as a library. Yeah, it's one fat book, but it is a series of books written over, thousands of years. Compiled over thousands of years, I guess I should say that. Yeah, because the Jewish Testament was an oral tradition, and that's Bible history, and I get off. Okay, so I glorify in the power of the word. Oh, because the whole point of that was, if you read in the beginning, the very early, it talks about the word moving. And Jesus talks about the word too. So it being the word being the power. So it's not just the power of the word is the power. And it matters. That's why words matter. And the more feeling you put behind a word, the more power that word is going to have. So that's something to be aware of. We grew up with the sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And that is so not true. That is so not true. Sticks and stones, yes, absolutely can. But words can break your spirit. So words have power. And it's up to us to, when we use words, to choose our words wisely and to recognize the power that they have. And the more emotion you have behind that word, the more power it's going to have. So, I have faith in the invisible because everything that is visible proclaims the invisible source of its being. So when you look around, especially when you're in nature and you contemplate. When I was in California for one of the retreats, and I got to see the redwoods up close, and one of the people that I went hiking with, he's over 6 feet, and so he gets up and he stretches his arms out in front of this tree, and so he's got a 6-foot wingspan, right? And the tree continues on either side of his fingertips for a couple more feet. That is the visible proclaiming the invisible source, because you look at that tree and you go, that's the mind of God at work to create a tree like that. Or you look at a hummingbird in flight and you go, that's the mind of God at work. I feel as though all things, even though they are temporary, are rooted in a changeless reality. And that's what Science of Mind teaches. That when we talk about that circle V, which is not accurate, but that's hard for me to do. That's it. That's part of what that circle V teaches, is spirit moving through the law into form. And then it also goes back. So form is temporary, but spirit is forever. So things are constantly manifesting into form and then going from form back into spirit, which is what we all do. So that we are rooted in this reality that is so much bigger than us. And when we struggle in the manifestation, in the form, what we can do is we can go back and we can look, to use Dr. Goswami's term, we can go back and look at the blueprints in the bliss, meaning spirit, and pull from the blueprints and go, okay, this isn't working. Let me go back and look at the blueprints and see where I need to make some adjustments. And you have access to the blueprints, especially the blueprints of you, because they're yours. Today, I enter into this divine play of life upon itself. And there you go. Today, we enter into the divine play of life upon itself, because that is what is happening. This is spirit at play. We are spirit at play. And it's when we forget that things get messy. It's like we are spirit at play. Today I attend and witness the eternal birth of divine ideas. Because really, honestly, we are watching things come into and out of existence, out of material form all the time. Why not look at them as divine ideas? Because when we look at things as divine ideas coming into manifestation, we're going to be a little more careful. We are going to make choices more wisely, and we are going to make choices in loving, kind, compassionate, because we are recognizing these are divine ideas. And divine ideas are life, and they are good, and they are spirit. I recognize these ideas as supplying me with everything I need. Today, I have implicit faith that substance is taking form in my affairs. And substance, he's using the capital S there. Substance. This substance takes the form of joy, friendship, and love. So that is a statement of fact from Ernest. This substance takes the form of joy, friendship, and love. Yes, why not think about it that way? It's like, why not look at it in the positive? What could go right? Stop focusing on what could go wrong. We can prepare for things not working exactly the way we expect them to. But why not focus on what could go right? Why not focus on things happening in our life that are joy, friendship, and love? It takes the form of abundance and perfect physical condition. Yeah, I snorted at that one because that's what I'm doing. I'm working on my perfect physical condition. But since I'm not, I've given up my stubbornness, and I'm working with somebody who's trained to do this in a way that I'm not, just like I am a spiritual practitioner. So I have a little more training in that area than most people. So that's what I'm good at. So I'm deferring my expertise in the physical condition to somebody else. And as I get, am I going to go get licensed to do this? No. But I know that I could. Just like me being a spiritual practitioner, I know that if you want to be a spiritual practitioner, that's something you can learn too. But if it's not your calling, that's what we're here for. Everything is increased and multiplied, and the good that goes from me is also increased and multiplied. So if I am increasing it for myself, then I am increasing it for everybody. Because when I am good, then I put more good out into the world. So when you are good, you put more good out into the world. And it's not anything you have to do other than be yourself. I believe in the power of my own word because I understand that it is not I, and this is where the Bible quote is. And this is a direct quote from Jesus, even though he doesn't tell you where it's from. The Father that dwelleth in me, that does the work. So when I am working, if I'm working for myself or I'm working with someone else, then I'm not the one doing the work. The power is not coming from me. The willpower is not coming from me. I don't have to have a whole lot of willpower to do spiritual work. All I have to do is be open and willing for the power to come through me. And that's my job. That's my job. My job is to be a channel for the power to come through me. My job is to hold the space for you to know. So it's not me that does the work, but the spirit within me, the spirit that I am made up of, the spirit that you're made up of, which is why I know that you have the power to do whatever it is that you want to do, because you're made up of the same stuff that I am. And I will believe that until you can believe it for yourself. I know that I individualize the power of God. Okay, so if I know that I individualize the power of God, I know that you individualize the power of God. Through my spoken word, I exercise dominion over everything that comes into my experience. Okay, so that means you, through your spoken word, exercise dominion over everything that comes into your experience. Use your words wisely. Use your words wisely, but use your words. When you are in a situation that you do not care for, use your words to change the situation. And you can use your words out loud, or you can use your words silently. Treatments can be done out loud and treatments can be done silently. I will be at work and things will be going, okay, what is this going on? And I will take that moment and I will do a treatment to change. And the only thing I'm changing is me. I am changing my mind in relation to the situation. And most of the time, it gets better. And when it doesn't is when I call someone and say, okay, here's where I'm at. Please know for me. Know for me until I can know for myself. I do this without any sense of strain or compulsion, and that's where practice comes in. The more practice that you give to this exercise, the easier it is. The more it becomes your default setting. So that you don't have to strain, there's no compulsion, because it's not your power that you're using. You're using a power flowing through you from an inexhaustible source. And from a source that loves you and will never stint on the power that it flows to you. But rather a joyous sense, a sense of the one who beholds that the works of God must be altogether good and perfect. And so that goes back to, what's your idea of God? What is your idea of God? Because if your idea of God is judgmental and judging and harsh and scary and, all of that, then you're not gonna do this with a joyous sense. So that would be a time to re-examine your relationship with the divine. I use my word and glorify in its power, because my word, our word, your word, comes from a divine source. And the power, so we're not glorifying in our power, we're glorifying in the power of love, of spirit, of creation, of joy. So, our mission, should we choose to accept it today, and I'm going to go back to our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to enter into this divine play of life upon itself. So I encourage you to think about what that means and what that means to you. What does a divine play of life upon itself look like to you? What does it feel like to you? What does it taste like to you? What does it smell like to you? Engage all of your senses in this divine play of life upon itself, because you are that divine play of life upon itself. And that is what you bring to the world. And you don't have to be anything other than yourself to be that divine play. So, as I always do, I'm going to encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Do something that engages your mind and body. Now, I am here in Houston. It is 40-something degrees out there. I would love to open my windows, but I think my cats would revolt, even though they're wearing little fur coats. So maybe a little later today, but please get some fresh air. Allow that fresh air to engage your brain and bring you a new perspective. And as I quote Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to come in and remind you that you live in heaven now. because you are a beloved child of Spirit in whom Spirit is well pleased. Now, always, and forever. So, do what you need to do to make it a fantastic day. Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. I always say that because like last night he was on almost at 7. And we did have a really interesting conversation with Reverend Jesse and Donald John Lewis last night. So please, if you didn't see it, check in. It was about an hour. And they talked about some really interesting things, including Donald John Lewis is starting the I Am Challenge. And that was, it's going to be something that's really cool. And I think we should all get in on the I Am Challenge. So have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Goodbye, beloveds.